These years, I found out last week that my wife of 7 years, married 5, together 2 years, had an affair with one of her classmates. We have a 2-year-old son. I recently got out of the army, and she joined earlier this year. Basically, what happened was she has been talking to this for a few months now. I have met him, hung out, we played guitar together, etc. So, he knew me, I knew him, and he most certainly knew that my wife and I were married. They are in the same class together at school, and I had been noticing them talking a lot, whether it be on FB, or texts, or in person, etc. It just got enough for me to question. So, I did, and she reassured me there was nothing going on. So last week she goes to a party with a bunch of people from her class. Guess who was there? I didn't hear from her all night, and then when I did, she flat out told me everything that happened, in detail from start to finish. They were there, drinking, talking, hanging out, then went to leave, and one thing led to another, and they ended up in the backseat of our truck. Luckily, somehow, I kept my cool and didn't kill her, and then go find and kill him. After a few hours, and me cooling down enough to talk about it, she told me it was just something light and touching, not bonding. Neither one of them finished, and they were just sloppy drunk, etc. Following the script. I know, I didn't believe that for a second. I know there is more to it, whether it was just this one time, or multiple times, and I know in my gut they had sex. During the last week, I have been talking to my dad a lot. He was an active member on here, to say the least, can relate to me in every way. He has been giving me a ton of advice, as well as directed me to this site. He has been helping me implement my 180, as well as keep my emotions somewhat controlled. I am planning on divorce. I cannot stand to be with someone who betrays me and has that little respect for me. I basically could just use some input as to the best way to keep my emotions in check. Most of my emotion is sheer rage. I get extremely angry at her, and then I go on my roller coaster to sad, and why did she do this, and so on. I have no desire to reconcile. She moved out of the apartment the day after it happened, and back into the barracks. I gave her no choice. I have my son now, as she cannot have him in the barracks. So again, basically just any advice would be good, or any questions or anything really. I just wanted to give a little background info on the whole thing. All this happened Saturday night, the 21st, and she came back home and stayed that night, and left Sunday morning. I have strong feelings that she is bipolar, but basically, she goes back and forth from wanting to reconcile, and then straight to forget you. I don't need you if you don't want me. She is following script, and recently is turning it all against me. Deep down, she wants to reconcile, and move back home, and everything be back to normal. But I can't do that. I don't want that. What bothers me the most is the lack of remorse or concern that she shows about any of this. It is like she doesn't even care. She has cried once, but every other time, she just doesn't seem to care at all. I have been looking into lawyers, but Texas law states that you have to be a resident for 6 months before filing for legal separation or divorce. And we have only lived here 2 months. I do exercise occasionally, and most of my drinking happens after I put my son to bed. He is my number one concern and my priority right now. And I know that, and I am well aware of that. I try to do things throughout the day to take my mind off of it. We go to the park, walk with our dog, go to the pool. But needless to say, I still think about it all day. I know I need to move forward, and I am doing my best to do that. I'm trying to stop drinking, and yes, I already contacted her co. He is helping me through this all as well. She is going to be tried for adultery and drinking and driving. With me not having a job and being the stay-at-home mom, I don't really have the funds for a lawyer right now. And I am doing my best to expose this to everyone. I have everything documented. I have her whole admission recorded on my phone, emails, etc. I am doing all I can to gather all my evidence in my case, so when the time comes, and I do start with D, I am ready. The car is in her name. I have been building the motor for my car for over a year now, so we just have the one vehicle. And because she knows it is in her name, that is just about the only leverage she has on me, is to leave me without a vehicle. And not to mention, I have only lived in Texas for 2 months, so I have no family and about 2 friends, so don't really have a way to borrow a car or anything. I do not drown myself in alcohol. I don't drink all day long. I may have a beer or 2, and then after my son is in bed, have a few more. I don't drink cases of beer a day, or bottles of liquor every day. I just have a few, to take the edge off if you will. I know not to get too carried away, and I know how to control it. Not that it matters to this situation, but both of my parents are recovering alcoholics. So, I have been around it all my life, and have seen it destroy a lot of things. So, I have respect for it. I just want to set that straight. I am not getting hammered, blackout drunk every day all day long. Basically, there is no I have no interest in that. Second, yes, I think in a way, she did it on purpose. She mentioned to me weeks ago that it was hard for her to come home every day and adjust back to being a mother. Wife with a family. She would leave at 4 a.m., not be home until 7 to 8:30 p.m. and in bed by 8:30 to 9. And the whole time she was home, she would complain that our son was on her nerves, she couldn't study, and just yelled and complained all night. With that being said, here is a little background on her. Before we met each other and got together, she was one to go out and party a lot. And also, yes, I do think that she misses the party, single woman with no responsibilities lifestyle, especially because when I was in the army, we had no kid. So, we partied and lived that lifestyle for 4 years. It was great. Married the whole time, of course, but with the kid and marriage come responsibilities. And I think with her being in the army and around so many people that are single and just want to party, she is getting sucked back into that lifestyle. I grew out of it really fast. If you saw me or knew me, you would think I was at least 30. I am only 23. Needless to say, I am mature. I don't think necessarily that she doesn't like the mother-wife lifestyle. I just think she misses the single party lifestyle. I have no control over that. She makes her own choices, crappy ones as of late, but again, it is completely in her own control. We were happily married. Ups and downs, of course, but very happily married. Great physical life, an incredible son, etc. We had it all going for us. After I got out of the army couple of years ago, we were both working somewhat of crappy jobs. Our son had just turned 2 when she joined, earlier this year, and we did it to better ourselves as a family. She is very smart, she got a great job, and was doing great. Anyway, like I said before, once I got out of the army, we didn't really party or do anything like that anymore. We had a kid, so that is why I said she is being sucked back into the lifestyle that she was in before she met me. With regards to me knowing the score, we were married. We didn't go out with all the single guys. We lived 30 minutes from the base. All the partying we did was mostly with other married couples. And I use the word partying loosely. It was anywhere from beers on the beach, to nights at the bar, to BBQs at the house. So, with that being said, yes, I knew how the single army lifestyle was, but was not involved in it. Hope that kind of clears that up. Comments: take your child, get out of Texas, nothing there for you now. Florida or Michigan. Your wife is in for a crap storm and a life full of regrets. Cut her loose and let consequence deal with her. If you go with either parent, they will help with your son. Second parent, nothing wrong with that. I vote Florida. Michigan will be pain in the winter with a 2-year-old, and expensive with winter clothes, and time-consuming winterizing him every day. Florida, he can run in a bathing suit all year long. You'll find a good lady easily. Your wife prefers the skank life, that is until she wakes up. When she gets thrown out the army, she will try to R with you, to be provided for. No problem taking the boy now, but you must act before she wises up and gets a restraining order. So you can't take him out of state. Good luck. OP responds: we are originally from Michigan, so we know what it's like. Our son was born in January, so yes, we know how winter is. But I have family in both states. So, as of right now, I am planning a short trip to Michigan, then come back here and pack everything up, and move to Florida. I have been wanting to move to Florida and go to school, which the Army pays for. So, I figured now is the perfect time. Here is a little update on my STBXW. I asked her yesterday when the last time she talked to OM was. She flat out told me, last week sometime, even though this just happened last week. So, I asked her again, and she said they have been talking all week. So, the whole NC thing doesn't exist in her book of scripts. After that conversation, she started with the whole, I still care. But because you don't care, then I don't care. So if you want to work things out, I want to move back in and work them out. No, not going to happen. I have been asking her questions and reading her to see how much she actually cares and wants to R, but she obviously doesn't. Or she is so deep in a fog that she has no clue how to handle this. Then this morning, she texted me and said, this is totally up to you, of course, but I want to go to counseling. I think that will help. I just told her no. Yesterday, I also tried to come up with a logical and fair agreement with the truck. I told her I would keep it during the week, when I have our son, then on the weekend, when she can come get him, she can take it. She wanted nothing to do with that. It's her truck, so she is keeping it. She told me to get a cab if I needed to go anywhere. Yeah, I am going to go grocery shopping with a 2-year-old in a cab. I get a check from VA. I broke my back in the army and got medically discharged. It's not enough to live off of, or support anything, but at this specific time, it helps. But no, we don't share bank accounts. I do have access to hers though. Well, did. So last week, I took half of the money out of my son's savings account, and she told me she is going to file a police report because I stole money from her. So anyway, I have some money. Not much, but I do have some. I also have some things in MI to keep me busy and get some more money together. I am trying to get in touch with the OM's family for exposure. I know nothing about him, and the only way I was able to look into any of that was Facebook, but he recently blocked me from it. So, I have no way of looking into anything. Does anyone know of any possible way that I can look up information about him in regard to his family, so I can contact them and tell them how much of a piece of crap their kid is? I just got off the phone with my STBXW. She said I have to pay her back the money I took out of her bank account. I took out $250 from our son's savings account. She told me if I didn't, she was calling the police. I told her go right ahead. She got all angry and demanded that I pay it all back. I told her I wasn't giving her a dime, and she said she is calling the police and telling them I stole money from her account. So now, she told me she is not going to pay rent. She said she will pay some, and I will be responsible for the rest. I have not responded to her and have been advised to go dark. I am planning on making a trip to MI in the next few days. I will be taking all the important stuff out of the apartment and putting it into a storage unit for the time being. So, once she finds out I'm gone, and the stuff is not here, she can't destroy it, or try to take it. Then, I will come back to Texas, for enough time to pack it all up and head to FL. So basically, any advice would be good on the subject of going dark. I am not going to answer any more of her phone calls, or texts. She also told me she is done trying. Told me if I want divorce, then that's fine. She said she has been trying to make things work, and make an effort in the last week to R, and that if I was not interested in R, then she wasn't either. Child custody is not a big issue here, because with her being in training, she cannot be a single mother and have custody of our son. So, I have him, and with us still technically being married, she can't do anything about it. But with that being said, in the time I have to wait to file for divorce, I will dig deeper into that, and work on getting all that done. As far as being discharged, it may take up to a year for all the Uniform Code of Military Justice action to happen. Not to mention with the military, there has to be concrete evidence of penis and vagina as far as adultery goes. So, she may end up just getting off with the drunk driving charges and remain in the Army, with no rank of course, and a Dewey that will stay with her throughout her military career. So, with all that, divorce is only 4 months away. Yes, I know it takes time after I file, but I have some time to work out custody-type details. At this point, it is toward the end of the list, because I have him and she can't do anything about it. So, I am pretty safe. Not to mention, her commanding officer who is helping me with all this is a 2x BS and has been divorced twice. Needless to say, he can relate to everything that is going on, and that only improves my chances of making her life a complete heal. So, I just got 4 texts from my STBXW. This is word for word what she texted me. And by the way, I am going to counseling. Was waiting on you, figured you weren't going to join me. It was a one-way effort, but at this point, I am giving in. Do what you want. I can't be happy in life. I miss you and wish I could have you, but it's not in our future. I get it. I just really don't want to fight anymore. He'll stop calling. But please let me Skype our son when you can, and I'd like to see him when you can make time. As far as the counseling thing goes, she texted me this morning and asked if I wanted to go to counseling. I told her no. My future does not include you, so therefore, no need for counseling. And I told her she needed to go to counseling for herself, because she needs help. I have been firm in the fact that I cannot and will not keep our son from her. She doesn't necessarily know that I will get full custody, but that is one thing I have told her throughout this, is that we can be mutual about our son. I know she is his mother, and I can't take that from her. She will just have to make more of an effort on her part to see him when she can. If rent isn't paid today, then I will be forcing the issue with her co. And the investigation is starting this week. If they think they can get adultery to stick, then it will turn into a 15-6 formal investigation. That's when lawyers get involved, MPs, etc. Then it takes more time. And if they decide to keep pressing for adultery, it will take more time. Her co just said it could take up to a year, but it sounds like you know how the military works, so it could be a year or a week. If they decide that they can't charge adultery, then they will charge her with Dewey. I know she will lose rank, and hopefully a lot worse than 45-45. So yes, if it's just a company-grade Art 15, then it won't take much time at all. There is a lot hanging in the balance right now with this investigation from her unit. Like I said, her co is interviewing everyone involved this week. I will definitely keep updating on here how that goes. I am actually very careful when it comes to slipping. Very careful. But as of now, I will be in MI by the weekend. My stuff in the apartment will be in storage, and she will be getting Tsunami for the next week. Once this investigation starts, and I get to MI and expose it to everyone there, all of her family is there, so they will all be hearing from me. On top of that, she will find out that I am in MI with our son, and this whole time, I will be like a ninja. I will be in the shadows. I will be dark. I seem to have been in a great mood these last few days if you can't tell. I have some things that I can do in the meantime to keep my mind occupied. Can't really get a job now, but in the future. Once I get back from MI, I am planning on going to an auto tech school in FL. As far as the emotions go, I don't think the mind movies will ever go away. but I will do what I can to limit them. Oh, and luckily, I got my smarts from my dad. I am going to leave my son and MI with my parents when I go back to Texas. They already arranged for it. So, once I leave MI, I will come back to Texas for just enough time to pack up, 3 days a week. Then rent a truck, and go to FL. Once I get to FL, I will fly back to MI and pick my son up, then fly back to FL. I have no plans on coming back to Texas. Hell, I may even file for divorce, fault, in FL after I have been there 6 months. Make it that much harder for her, because she will be at another duty station for more training, and not in Texas. Thanks for the advice. On another note, I went a somewhat of an emotional roller coaster ride yesterday. Basically, went from happy and in a good mood to thinking about her again. This time I didn't get angry. I got upset and depressed. Just the thought that I wasted the last 7 to 8 years of my life with this woman. Why would she have that little respect for me and our son, after everything we have done and been through? And throw it all away in a matter of 4 hours. But I am doing a better today. Haven't thought about it much, and I have been busy packing stuff up to take it to storage. So that is kind of keeping me occupied. Yes, you could say I'm in a good mood, and the storage unit is for me. I am putting all the valuable things in the house in it, because once she finds out I'm gone, she will be at the apartment trying to destroy, or take everything. So, I am doing that for my safety. She will have no idea where the stuff is at, or how to get to it. I am not emptying the apartment, just the important stuff. And I have checked with her commander, and with legal, and there is nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I am simply going to visit my family. Last night I got a surprise visit from my STBXW. She showed up out of the blue at about 6:30 p.m. She said she just wanted to talk. So, we started talking, and wow. She started off by wanting to know why I had boxes packed, where I am going, what I was doing, who I've been talking to. Just 21 questions. I answered none of them. Then she tried to justify everything she did. She then followed script to a T, and tried turning me into the bad guy, saying it was all my fault. She said that over the last few months, with her being in basic training, and now being in school every day, it caused me to become very jealous. So, the first chance I had to get out of the marriage, I took it. I couldn't believe she was saying this. I told her everything I am doing, every action I am taking, and every decision I am making are a direct result of her cheating. That is, she did this. It was her choice, her actions, not mine. I stood my ground very firmly. I then kept giving her hints to leave. Then as she was leaving, she started bawling her eyes out, saying how sorry she was, how much of a bee she is, and just wanted to know what to do to make things right. I almost started laughing but said nothing. I just kept staring at the door. So, she left, then called me, saying she just wanted to hear my voice. And then tried calling me 3 to 4 other times, but I didn't answer. She then texted me, saying she is not going to stop trying. She then texted me 2 to 3 pictures that she had of us on her phone, saying that she just wants to make things right. I threw up in my mouth a little. But anyway, feeling good today. Have to get all my stuff in storage, then I will be out of here early tomorrow morning. She has been trying to manipulate me all day. She has been texting me all day and tried to call 4 times. My mom, dad, stepmom, sister, and a few friends have told me that she has been calling them too. After seeing everything packed last night, she does not know what I am doing, and she doesn't know what to do about it. So, she is calling around to find out if anyone knows my plans or what I'm doing. She has been sending me pictures all day, saying I love you, I miss you, I don't want to lose you, blah blah blah. She told me she really wants me to go to counseling, an AA with her. I also found out that she has been going on my phone record and calling every number she doesn't recognize, like I am the WS. Haha, she texted me asking who I have been talking to, what are all these numbers, and so on. Needless to say, I am more than excited to get out of here for a while. Take my mind off of everything, and just relax for a while. When she goes to the apartment tomorrow, and sees that it's empty, and we're gone, her world is going to turn upside down. Not that it already has, but that will surely send a message. She will stay in the army. Her commander said they can't charge her with adultery, but they can for physical misconduct, disobeying a lawful order, and breaking policy. So, she will still have disciplinary action against her, but she won't be discharged. Story 2. The Comeback. Brief backstory. Wife of 9 years had affair. It only lasted about a month and they were only intimate twice. I chose to stay and work it out. Things have been improving. She is truly sorry and regrets what she did. That being said, I already get the 2 wrongs argument, lowering myself. All that, but even understanding and accepting that, I still feel a desire to do something for me. I'm really trying to move on and get our marriage back on track, and I think it's working. It was a wake-up call for both of us for sure. The problem that is lingering is I know she still thinks what happened was hot. The other problem is as much as it haunts me, I'm sure it was. At first, I wanted to give her a taste of her own medicine, have an affair and send her the pictures, but I quickly got past that. Now I feel more jealous that she got to experience this forbidden thing and I haven't. I've had many opportunities but never acted because of my view of what our marriage was. That has changed now, and if we can survive her infidelity, why shouldn't I get to experience the excitement she felt? I have no desire to have her find out, but I really want to just get this out of my system. I still get angry and hurt every day, and I ask myself, if I've forgiven her, why can't I stop thinking about what happened? What is keeping this alive? I know it's this jealousy of not having the experience. I need some honest feedback on this. Has anyone done this and come out better? I truly feel like I need this to really move on. I have been talking with a woman for a few weeks that I would like this to be with. Last night we met for drinks. I told her what my intentions were. We're both really attracted to each other, and we talked in complete honesty of a brief fling and nothing more. It was a mature conversation between two adults. She said she'd be into it, and I want to do it. I want to save my marriage, and me obsessing over this causes issues. I can honestly say that now that this could happen, I've stopped obsessing over her infidelity. I've convinced myself this will work despite my instinct telling me it's a slippery slope. I've already gone to the next step in this and kissed my potential last night. We made plans to meet Monday afternoon to follow through on everything else. That's why I need feedback soon. I need to know if I'm just insane for thinking this could work. I'm hyper aware of what I can deal with. I've looked at every angle. I've done all I could to lay the groundwork so things won't drag on or get out of control. I honestly feel I'd be doing this to help us move on. We have gone to couples counseling, which helped through the first few weeks, which were really rough. We've read all the books, done the exercises. We've recommitted to each other. Stressed we both want this to work. She has shown remorse, and to address another comment about her thinking it's hot. That's me assuming, not her saying. I know this is still new and that it's going to take time, but I feel like I've moved past a lot of this right now, and this is terrible, I know. I want to have this affair for me. I've always been faithful till last night's kiss, but I've definitely thought about other women. I've fantasized about it. I didn't do it because my wife and I vowed not to. That vow was broken by her, and we both want to renew that vow to each other, but why should she get the pass? Why should I suppress my desires if she couldn't? I know it could lead down a dangerous path, but I have confidence that I would get it out of my system, and that would be that. And then I wouldn't harbor jealousy and resentment over it anymore. Honestly, since I've started down this path, I've felt better. I'm not dwelling on what she did. And it's not because I've occupied my time thinking about this. I feel a normalcy returning to my life and thoughts. That is what makes me think this could be what I need. As crazy and illogical as it is, isn't there a possibility that this is just how I process things? When the affair came to an end, my wife needed to meet the guy face to face to end it. I was totally against it. It made no sense to me. I went with her because the trust level was still low. I hung out across the street from the diner, so I knew nothing was going on, but far away enough that I couldn't see his face. Like I said, I thought that was bad. No reason to be face to face and drum up emotions. You already said it was over in an email. There's no reason to do this. But she said it had to do it this way, for her. In the end, it was the best choice. She was able to see him for who he really was and not the illusion she had created in her head. She ended it, and that's what it took for her to break down, show real remorse, ask for forgiveness, and vow herself to me. So, I didn't think what she wanted was a good idea, and it ended up being the turning point for that part of the healing. Maybe, as stupid as this sounds, could be the thing that helps me set aside the rest of my crap and move on. I know this is on me, and I know what the right thing to do is. Until this point, that's all I've ever done. The right thing, and all it got me was heartbreak. So, I know this is still fresh. I know I'm acting out impulsively and morality has flown out the window, but frankly, I don't really care right now. I want to care, but I'm kind of numb inside. There has been a development today. I tested the waters with my wife and told her what's going on in my head, what I'm considering doing, and why. After some discussion, she gave me her blessing. She doesn't want to know anything about it, but said she wants me to do what I feel is necessary to move on. She strongly laid down ground rules and emphasized that if I do anything, I promise I'm coming home to her, that she knows she screwed up and I stood by her. She knows it was wrong and feels remorse. She wishes she hadn't, but at the time it seemed like something she needed. That being said, we both agree that it was a wake-up call and we can move on stronger than we were. I know all of that is really loaded and can predict what people will say, but I still don't know what tomorrow will bring. Someone said earlier that I came here looking for permission, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I already have given myself permission, but I came here to see other perspectives, and I've gotten that for sure. Now I feel some satisfaction in the fact that I potentially had this in me. I know the kiss was cheating, but in comparison to what my wife did, not that bad. And yes, I'm rationalizing. I presented it to my wife and she was willing to accept this for me. For the first time, it feels like she actually sympathizing with what I'm going through. Part of me knows I should live with that, stop this before it goes further, before it could get out of control. But if I walk away from this fling now, I'm walking away from it forever. The timing, people, and circumstances will never line up again. If I don't do this and I give it time, I may be just as screwed up. If I do it, I could really move on. I know those both can be reversed, but the thing is it's all unknown. Just because it went one way for someone or even most people, doesn't mean that's what's going to happen with me. I know from experience that sometimes following my gut is best and it's telling me to go for it. But my brain is saying no. So, after all this, after talking with my wife and getting her blessing, I still don't know what I'm going to do. By this time tomorrow the decision will have been made and the deed either done or not done. I have never considered lowering myself like this, but I don't even know myself anymore. This affair has made me question everything I know about myself and life. I know it's the trauma. I know it's looking for validation in the wrong place, but I guess this is what it's like reaching a tipping point. I've used so much strength to deal with the affair and I feel like I'm all out. I wouldn't have given her permission, but the thing is, if she came to me and said something was missing and she had desires to look for it somewhere else, we could have worked on it. We could have avoided all of this, because ultimately it was all in her head. The things she let build up and pretty much the negative things she was fighting were things she brought into our life, and this ended up being the culmination of that negativity and self-destructive nature she possesses. Now the need I have would never have come to life if she hadn't brought it in. I know what I'm doing is probably self-destructive too, I get that, but I think I may have to do it. Still don't know. This is a screwed up question probably, but right now I'm concerned that if I call this off. Tell me, wife, realistically how close this came to happening. She's going to see it not as something I'm avoiding so she and I can move on, but she'll see it as weakness. That I didn't have it in me to really be bad. I have always been a nice guy, doing the right thing, and she used that against me. She had an affair with a jerk, and a hole who was dangerous and bad. I know she has issues that she needs to work out with this, but I do love her and she loves me. I know that, but I am done looking like a fool or being a doormat. If I back out of this, I'm there again. And yes, I know that we should talk about it, that we need to grow up and stop looking for escapes or ways to avoid talking about it. But even with the guilt and shame, I could prove to myself that good people sometimes do bad things and in return truly be able to look at my wife and believe it. I'm human, a man, and one who is a very physical person. I don't live in a bubble, and yes, there were times that I have been in situations where I've been attracted to other women. I love my wife completely and no one compares to her, but that doesn't mean other women are all unattractive and boring. I have had good chemistry with many women, wondered what it would be like, but I took seriously my wedding vows and no one was ever worth breaking that, no matter how attracted to each other we were. This is my opinion, but I don't believe there is anyone who has never fantasized about it. Acting on it is the difference, and people choose to act or not for many different reasons. I never did because I thought what we had was sacred. I was wrong. That changes this. We may fix this and be faithful, but it never will be sacred again. If that is gone, my barrier is gone. If I do this once, it's once. And then we move forward bound to a new vow, but it can never be sacred again. I'm supposed to meet the O in less than 2 hours and I'm still going back and forth here. The anchors thrown have some weight, but the wind is picking up and the seas are getting angry. I didn't do it. I struggled with it up to the last minute and decided against it. My wife and I talked about how close it came. She knows about the kiss, the plan, everything. Yesterday when this all happened, I thought I'd made the wrong decision because all of anger, etc., came flooding back in. The good thing though, despite my wife and I having a very trying day, all the things that were barriers seemed to come down. I felt like maybe we could actually do this. I'm still curious what could have happened, what it could have provided me. But I made the right choice, I think. Time can only tell. My comment: I think a top-shelf partner regardless of gender doesn't take these infidelity crap from their partners. Do you agree? Comment down below. Sub and bell, and did you find